You checked every visitor at the gate. You vetted every new recruit. You locked every door on the perimeter. You warded the mail. You trained the watch. And then a shipment arrived from the merchant you've traded with for 3 years. With the guild seal, you verified. Through the trade road you've always trusted. And it was already too late. Because the attacker wasn't trying to breach your walls at all. They were waiting inside the crate you ordered, and your own porters carried them in. Welcome back. I'm the Architect. We've covered attacks that target you directly. Your users, your systems, your software, and your data. Today we study something harder to see coming. An attack that targets someone you trust, and uses that trust as the road into your keep. The supply chain attack. The attack that arrives as something you asked for. A supply chain attack works by compromising a third party, a vendor, a service provider, a software developer, and using that compromise to reach their customers. You're not necessarily the primary target, but the path to you runs through someone else. Why is this so effective? Because security is built around trust. We defend against untrusted input. We inspect unknown actors. We verify identities. But we extend trust to vendors we've paid and vetted, software we've licensed, updates we've configured to install automatically. The supply chain attacker doesn't need to breach your walls. They breach your merchant's workshop, poison the goods at the source, and then let your own trust carry the payload the rest of the way. You opened the gate yourself because you trusted the person delivering the shipment, and you had every reason to. The canonical example, the one that every security professional knows, SolarWinds 2020, a network management software company, a project called Orion, used by roughly 33,000 organizations worldwide, including U.S. federal agencies, defense contractors, and major technology companies. In early 2020, attackers compromised SolarWinds' build environment. Not the product, not the servers customers were running, the build environment. The forge where the software is assembled. The attackers inserted a backdoor into the code during the build process, before the final binary was assembled, before it was signed. So the output, the update file sent to customers, was validly signed. Passed every verification check. Carried the official guild seal, and approximately 18,000 organizations installed it. The backdoor then communicated back to attacker-controlled servers, disguised as legitimate network traffic. It waited 2 weeks before activating to defeat sandbox detection. It checked whether it was running in a security research environment before doing anything suspicious. And for the targets that passed those checks, it opened a door into some of the most sensitive networks in the world. The U.S. Treasury, the Department of Homeland Security, intelligence agencies, security companies, law firms, technology companies. The attackers had access for months before anyone discovered it. What did the affected organizations do wrong? In most cases, nothing. They installed a legitimate update from a verified vendor through their established and tested update process, exactly as designed. Exactly as intended. The poison was in the supply, not in their behavior. SolarWinds is the most famous, but the pattern is older and wider. NotPetya 2017. Malware that spread as an update to MEDOC, Ukrainian accounting software required for businesses operating in Ukraine. Organizations installed the update, the malware spread through their networks, and then across the networks of their international partners. An estimated $10 billion in damage worldwide. The most destructive cyber attack in recorded history. Started with an accounting software update. Utils in 2024. A near miss that could have kept more people up at night. An open source compression library, used widely across Linux distributions. A piece of fundamental infrastructure that millions of systems depend on. A new contributor appeared on the project. Earned 2 years of trust. Submitted good patches, helped with legitimate improvements, gradually gained commit access, and inserted a sophisticated backdoor, targeting SSH authentication. An infiltrator, patient, methodical, playing the long game, earning a place inside the guild before betraying it. If deployed at scale, it would have provided remote access to an enormous number of servers worldwide. It was caught by accident, by a Microsoft developer who noticed a tiny SSH performance anomaly while investigating something entirely unrelated. You're going to begin to notice that as a theme as we go through these. 2 years of patient work undone by a perception check nobody was trying to make. The supply chain is everything you didn't build yourself. Every library your software imports, every plugin your browser runs, every cloud service your organization connects to, every vendor who has any form of access to your environment, every piece of software on every machine. None of this was created by you. All of it carries implicit trust. All of it represents a potential road into your keep. This doesn't mean stop trading with merchants. It means the threat model extends beyond your walls, into every trade route connected at your gate. And the most sophisticated attackers know this. The kingdoms that are hardest to breach directly become reachable through their suppliers, through their contractors, through the open source libraries their builders imported 3 years ago and no one thought to audit since. Hold this concept in your mind going forward. Trust relationships are attack surfaces. Every party you depend on, whose updates you install, whose access you grant, represents risk you may not directly control. We'll be meeting a vendor before this campaign is done, a party whose role becomes, over time, a question worth examining closely. When that moment comes, remember this episode. Remember SolarWinds. Remember that the most effective attacks don't breach your walls. They ride in through the gates that you opened yourself. Your quest objective. Identify 3 pieces of software on your computer or phone that auto-update. For each one, do you know who makes it? Do you know where the update actually comes from? Do you know what permissions it has on your system? You don't need to uninstall anything. You need to build the instinct of knowing what you've trusted and why. The supply chain attack exploits automated, unexamined trust. Knowing what you've trusted and why is the beginning of managing it. Every attack we've covered so far has come from outside the walls, external actors, working to breach or circumvent our perimeter. Next time, the one who already has a key, the insider threat, the most complicated adversary in the monster manual, because they didn't have to breach anything. They're already inside the party. And defending against them requires confronting something that security professionals find genuinely uncomfortable. The enemy isn't always out there. Sometimes they're sitting at the table. I'm the architect. We'll talk soon.